Hi, I'm Matt with Main Street Medina, and welcome to another edition of Medina Minute. Today we're here at the historic Farmers Exchange in Southtown, and we're going to meet some faces and some friends from around town. Come on in and join me. Hello, today we're here with Linda Loveless from Creative Show Promotions. Linda, thank you so much for joining me for Medina Minute. So we know that you're a very visible public figure and all the stuff that you do around town, but we want to get to know a little bit more about you. So I'm curious, how did you end up in Medina, Ohio?
I was born at Medina Hospital, and I grew up in Brunswick on a farm called Mapleside Farms. And
really?
So this is my home county, and I've actually lived in Medina for 40 years, the 44256 at some location.
Okay. So your family was Mapleside Farms?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
I guess we never talked about that.
Yes, we have not. Very good. So how did you end up in the city then?
I was working for Old Phoenix Bank.
Okay.
And, or actually I was working downtown for National City Bank. The marketing job opened for Old Phoenix. Nice. Moved here, my husband and I he grew up here in Medina, so we just kind of settled here.
Very cool. What, marketing, is that what you studied in school? Is this what you kind of fell into?
I went to Bowling Green to study, to be a speech and dramatics teacher.
Oh, okay.
But after, a month after college, I went to Tucson, Arizona, excuse me, to join Up With People for a year.
Oh, cool.
And while I was there, I was doing marketing, and I really kind of liked that creative part of it. So when I came back, I did interview for a couple teaching jobs, but I decided I wanted to get into marketing.
So you have this whole hidden background, performing arts stuff that, again, I never knew about you. I'm loving it. I loved Up With People. I remember when they came to our school, grade school, it just blew me away. I thought it was so amazing.
Mm-hmm. It was a great experience, too, to be a part of that.
So did you get to travel all over with that?
We started in Tucson, and then our cast went up through New Mexico, Colorado. We hit California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming. Came home for Christmas, and then we went to the southern states, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Yeah. And then we went to Puerto Rico for a few weeks, and then Venezuela for a month.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the message of the show? Like what social justice, or what were you talking about?
We're all God's people. We're all equal, kind of, yeah.
How did that translate?
Like Up With People, the song?
Mm-hmm. Up with people. How did that, so when you went to Venezuela, like, was there a language barrier, or does it just the beauty in the show?
For me, because I took 4 years of French in high school, but we did have teachers that taught us the language. And so when I got to Venezuela, we got there in the middle of the night. We had been delayed, and somebody else's host family dropped me off at my host family. It was a single mom with two young daughters. They lived in an apartment. They only knew Spanish. And so I had my little book there pointing things, and I was probably in their apartment for 2 days before we were able to get all of our equipment there and start doing things.
Really?
So, so we were there for maybe a week, and then we went to other parts of Venezuela, and again I stayed with different families that were pretty much just Spanish speaking. So I started to learn the language, and I felt when I came back to Caracas, I felt that I could at least understand what they were saying because I stayed with the same family. So yeah, it was just kind of progressive. Don't ask me to say anything now.
No, I won't. Because I wouldn't know what you were saying anyway, so you could say whatever you want.
I could probably say a few things.
How did being part of that affect your life? Because I think it's such a powerful thing. You're doing it for a year and spreading the word. And
always staying with host families, all different kinds of walks of life.
Was it fun or was it scary?
No, it wasn't scary. I cried a lot on the plane flying out there. That was the scary part. But then, I've always been kind of outgoing, I guess, and made friends.
Yeah.
But it was just an understanding of the world, and that it's not just the United States, because I made friends with people from all over the world that were in. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it something you would go back to? Like if they called you up and said, Linda,
I don't think
we're
I'd
doing
get
a road
on stage. No, I'd help with the marketing or something like that, but I wouldn't get up there and dance and sing anymore.
So how did you get into the whole marketing aspect of things?
So for them, I would leave for Up With People, I would leave the cast and go to another community where the cast was going to be performing in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so it was our responsibility, me and another cast member, to set up the show and advertise the show and meet with community groups and get host families for the whole family and plan where we wanted to go while they were visiting that community.
Cool.
So that's kind of where I first got exposed into marketing, of course.
Okay.
My dad with Mapleside Farms,
Yeah.
we were doing a lot of marketing with that too growing up, and I just decided I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. I wanted to do
Sure.
that creative
Yeah.
outlet.
How did you end up starting your own company, Creative Show Promotions? What was the impetus for that?
That started when my youngest son was at the kindergarten center, and I was on the PTA group, and they said, hey, we want to do a craft show. Who wants to do it? And of course, I raised my hand. 2 other ladies did, excuse me, and we had it at the Medina High School, and a lot of the crafters said, hey, do you do any of these craft shows anywhere else? And the 3 of us thought, maybe we're all stay-at-home moms.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could make this into a little business. So we
Oh,
started,
cool.
I think it was called a Country Harvest out at the fairgrounds,
Okay.
a craft show. And then that kind of grew, and at the time there was already somebody else doing a craft show on the square.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple years into it, they stopped doing it, and we started doing an affair on the square. And since my 2 partners have kind of separated, I've just carried it on.
It's you now, huh?
Yeah, it's me.
So you do a fair on the square. You also do the Home and Garden Show
Medina County Home and Garden Show.
at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And is that next year coming back in
Yes,
person?
it is,
Okay,
yes.
no,
It was virtual
like
this
life was
year.
put on hold.
Right.
How did that work, doing it virtual?
I found a really good platform that was easy to use, and of course I didn't have as many vendors, but the price was a lot lower, and we actually got about 600 people sign up to come, but it only turned out about 300 show up, which it was free. There was for attendees.
That's still pretty good, though.
But yeah, they were able to, I liked the platform because the visitors were able to live chat with all the different vendors like they would if they were in the show.
Yeah, very cool.
So,
And then, did you used to do a Christmas show as well?
it used to be Christmas in the colonies, and then I rebranded it to Christmas Around the World as the colonial idea was kind of fading.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that at the fairgrounds for a while. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm curious, you have a performing arts background. Are you also an artist or a crafter? Is that?
I'd like to make things and do things, but not.
But you wouldn't call yourself an artist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, people call me an artist, but I wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Not in any one little thing. Area.
Within the fine arts, what are you most drawn to? Are you more of a painting person, a sculpture, glass? Like, what do you collect any of those things?
No, not really. I just like to create home decor or that kind of thing, whatever's currently trendy.
Now you
I'm
have
into architectural salvage right now and
very cool.
repurposing.
Yeah. You have a new show coming up that you're starting called the Mill Street Makers Market, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to happen just literally across
I'm
the
just
street.
looking at it right now.
Yeah, this cute little street called Mill Street that most people don't know is there.
Right.
Don't even know that
I
it
think
has
it's
a name.
400, not quite 500 feet long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the vision for that? What will people see when they come out to Mill Street?
So it's an arts and crafts show again, when we have vendors of all different mediums, both in the arts line and also along the crafts line, the more articles that people can decorate with and use. So we have right now 31 vendors. I think we can handle, we're still working out the layout, I think we can handle 33, just right down the middle of the street.
Very cool, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. So it's one Sunday a month, starting June 27th from 11 till 4. The next one is July 11th, then August 15th, I have these memorized, September 19th, and October 17th.
Very cool. And it's a partnership you're partnering with Main Street Medina
Main Street.
to help get people into Southtown and see some of the cool stuff going on.
Right,
and it's interesting that it's going to be a cool event not taking place on the square.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, very cool. What, as far as shows, we do a lot of shows and special event stuff through Main Street. Where do you kind of see that trending? Do you think those are going to continue? Is there going to be a new format or a new? I mean, it's usually been like an arts show, a music show, this thing. What's your vision for what's down the road? Like, if you were coming up with your own brand new concept for an event,
oh boy,
what would it be?
Well, what I kind of see happening is not the big setups that people used to have with the fancy 10 by 10 setups and everything. I went to one down in Amish country a few weeks ago, and it's just basically a table there, but all these individuals are still making their products, but a lot of them are selling on Etsy, so that is kind of what we compete with, getting into the arts and crafts show. But I do think people like to come out and hold things and look at them and see the size instead of just always seeing it on
I'm
screen.
a very tactile person. I have to touch it and feel it before I buy it.
Well, and visualizing for me what the size is. You know, have you ever ordered something you thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it is? That's kind of, and just the whole entertainment of people being able to get out and commute again.
You're busy. You have something going on all the time. Do you ever get to take a breath and just chill out?
Sure.
What do you do in your downtime?
I have 3 grandchildren. Well, actually 4 now. One's 1 month old. So I love to spend time with them and have them over, and just had them over to spend the night the other night. And the 2 older girls who are 6 and 8, they started to set up their own little businesses. One wants to make jewelry, and she's making out of punched holes, and the other one wants to sell notebooks. And so I love that entrepreneurial spirit, because that's how I grew up, in that entrepreneurial spirit. So I love to see them doing that kind of thing.
Very good. Do you think they'll end up at Mill Street at some point?
I hope so. We'll work on that. Really, maybe a lemonade stand.
What if you got 2 weeks off? Linda, here's a check. You write in the amount. What would be your dream vacation? Where do you want to go or see?
I like the ocean and the beach, and I'd love to go on a cruise. I've always wanted to, and we've talked about a Chris Krindle market. I always wanted to go see those in Germany, and just to be around them. I've been to a couple in Chicago, but so I'd like to go to the Germany area. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you like more experiential things.
I do, definitely.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Like to do stuff.
Yeah. What with your grandkids, what do you impart to them about this community? What makes Medina such a special place that obviously has kept you here, and you've invested, it's fair to say, a couple decades of your time and talent within the community. You know, what is it about this town that you love so much?
I just think that it's always changing, and there's always new things coming up, but I appreciate the history growing up in Medina County, and some of our forefathers that, as you know, I'm on the board for the Arts Council, and there have been a lot of historical artists in our community that now are just kind of expanding it. I just think Medina has a lot to offer, but that's away from a big city vibe. It's still kind of rural, and a lot of hometown activities.
How do you see the Arts Council kind of growing within the community? I know you're doing a lot more initiatives. What would be your vision? There are so many. We have an Arts Council, an Arts League, this and that and that. Overall, countywide, how can we steer that? What would you like to see happen?
Yeah, that's a concern of ours, is being confused with all the other great arts organizations, and kind of our mission is just to advocate for and nurture and support the arts in Medina County, and just to get the word out more of the great artists that we do have in this community, and the arts organizations and what they're doing. It's not really an umbrella organization per se, but we are there to let everybody know what's going on.
Gotcha. What are some of your favorite things about Medina, either city or county? Like when you have out-of-town guests or people visiting, what is it? You got to go here, you got to see this, you got to taste this, you got to do this. What's your bucket list?
It's definitely the restaurants to start with. I love Farmer's Table, and there's just a lot of really good local restaurants, and I'm happy to see that they are doing well. And a lot of towns just have the chains that come in, but we have really had a lot of good restaurateurs that have invested in Medina. And that's probably the first thing I do, is to go to one of our great local restaurants and visit the square. And thanks to Main Street Medina, there's always something great going on around the square, or walking around the square and seeing the shops and that kind of thing.
Do you have a favorite restaurant? Or let's not say favorite, let's say what's your go-to?
Okay, my go-to is, I hate to say that while I'm here in this situation, but Santo Suso's. They have such a different kind of Italian than you're used to in some other Italian restaurants. Santo Suso's, if I want that kind of food, it would be on tap probably.
Okay, nice.
So PJ Marley's is great too, just the ambiance and what John's done there is great.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Linda, thank you so much for sitting down today and sharing a little bit of your story. And wish you great success with Mill Street, and looking forward to the other shows coming back. And
Right.
hopefully we'll just keep rebuilding it back up.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.